good night, and welcome to another episode of Youth Lounge with SKNYPA. We are your hosts for this evening. I am Malaika Howell.
And I am Tresania Douglas.
And today we will be featuring women in politics as we speak about women in power for this year's International Women's Day. We'll take a short break and be back with more Youth Lounge with SKNYPA.
Whether you're a local gem or a national brand, ZIZ TV is the platform to elevate your presence, capture attention, drive sales, and make a lasting impression on thousands of potential customers. Don't miss out on this prime advertising space. Contact us now at 465-2621. That's 465-2621 and speak to our marketing experts. Catch the eyes, make the sales, advertise here on ZIZ TV. Youth Lounge with SKNYPA is sponsored in part by the St. Kitts Electricity Company, SKELEC, powering the community.
SKELEC Interactive Voice Response System, a new 24-hour automated call-in service. Access it now at 465-2000 to report faults, receive bill balances, and for the first time ever, you can now make bill payments over the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Access it now by calling 465-2000.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with SKNYPA, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from St. Kitts-Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
And we're back in the Youth Lounge. Have you ever wondered what a day in the life of a female parliamentarian is like?
Here we have Honorable Isoline's Day in the Life.
Hi, my name is Isoline Phillip. I am Senator and Minister of Government with responsibility for the Ministry of Youth Empowerment, Aging and Disabilities, and the Ministry of Social Development and Gender Affairs in St. Kitts-Nevis. So my day typically begins, I arrive in office around 9:30 typically. I would get settled and then I would meet with my executive assistant /secretary to get updated on whatever correspondences have come in, whatever new additions to my schedule in terms of meetings, and just to follow up on any administrative things that she would be working on. Then I would typically settle in to check my emails, respond to emails, at least make an effort to do that. Responding to emails, also making calls to follow up on things that would have been requested previously. So calls, emails, and then usually launch into meetings for the day. So scheduled meetings. Meetings that typically range from meetings with ambassadors or fellow ministers to meetings with just members of the public, depending on the day and the opportunity. Typically meetings end around 4 most often. Sometimes in the evenings I have to show up to events. That might be an event that supports work in another ministry, another department. Depends on the day, but events usually happen in the evenings, and if not, I typically use the evenings to do some thinking and brainstorming around strategic plans, around following up on the status of implementation of different things. I usually use that time just for my own alone quiet time to read and review what's happening in terms of the oversight for public administration for my ministries. It can be challenging. A lot of it is, it's leadership, it's making tough decisions, and it's also working part of a team. So nothing I necessarily do or the decisions that I pass down, the things to be implemented, it's not just by virtue of myself, but everything I do also comes from the greater administration shared among colleagues in the cabinet, as well as the direction of the Prime Minister. And so just managing expectations of people is challenging. Just being able to find solutions to problems in a system, it can be challenging. So I think just, leadership and decision making within that space is just generally not the easiest. Challenges come up that you don't really expect, but it's just part of the job, I guess.
Welcome back to Youth Lounge with SKNYPA. Here we have...
I'm sorry. Hi. So yes, I am Honorable Iceline Phillip. I'm a senator and minister responsible for youth empowerment, aging, disability, social development, and gender affairs. Good night, ladies.
Good night. I got you. It's probably been a long day.
This is my second time here for the day.
Yikes.
Oh wow.
So,
okay. So what inspired you to pursue a career in politics?
What inspired me to pursue a career in politics? Well, I feel like I kind of happened into it. It wasn't exactly where I was planning to end up, but to be honest, I've always had interest in issues of national development, issues when it comes to youth involvement. I was a former SKNYPArian. I was also a Commonwealth Youth Ambassador, and so I've always gravitated towards opportunities for leadership and engagement, and so I just guess that's just the trajectory that I ended up in, and it was an opportunity that, at the time, I didn't hesitate, so I think everything that I've done kind of led me to this point.
And at this point where you're in there for a bit of time, is it everything that you thought it would be and more? Is it,
No, I mean, so it's more than I would have expected. It's a steep leap. Yeah, it's it's a lot of different things to consider and to think about, especially since ability. So. I'm learning, and things pop up every day, but I think that's just part of the growth and part of the experience.
I understand.
So does having another woman in cabinet boost your confidence in what you do, certain decisions you make?
Oh yes, I think definitely having the presence of other females, other women in cabinets is actually a big help to me, because we have women that I actually look up to in terms of just respect them very much with their ability to do their work and just their expertise and their background and their competence. And so for me, it does help because when you're in a male dominated environment, because I might travel, engage in similar types of environments and where it's male dominated, and sometimes imposter syndrome does come in, and not only am I a woman, but I'm also really young.
Yeah.
And so
youth and gender both going into.
It's for me can be kind of doubly disabling and intimidating, but it does help to be able to have certain examples and just certain colleagues who help to boost your confidence, who you can also learn from and kind of exchange that way.
So give us a little insight. What was it like when you got the call? Hi, I want you to be a senator. What was that like? Where were you mentally?
I mean, I was, grateful for the opportunity. I wasn't expecting it in the end because of how it all happened. But like I said, I didn't hesitate. So in the moment, for me, I kind of started wrapping my head around, okay, this is an opportunity, maybe this is kind of the next step for me in terms of career development. It's not necessarily the direction I was intending to go, but it wasn't something that I felt like I couldn't do.
So as a little girl, you said this wasn't the direction you were hoping to go. When you were younger per se, what was the target?
When I was younger, I used to say I was going to be PM because my uncle is actually a politician, so I grew up around it. But then because I grew up around it, I kind of got a sense of, that's not what I wanted to be. Yeah, but just life kind of happens, and perhaps that's just where I was meant to kind of be as a space. I think I enjoy certain things about the job. There's other things that I'm learning to kind of enjoy.
Certain things.
But I've always been interested in politics and leadership in that kind of way.
So how do you think we can bridge the gender gap in leadership positions in politics?
That's a big question. And it's a big question, I say that because, there are multiple things that I believe need to change and can shift and can improve. I think, there's certain cultures around certain spaces and environments that make it seem not as appealing to women. I think, having more women in the space would be encouraging because that also shifts the kind of energy that's in the space. And it does, representation does matter.
Yeah.
And, if that looks like maybe having, affirmative policies, particularly for areas that are, not equally balanced, I think, certain types of affirmative policies can be helpful for that, being intentional about engaging women who are able to function at the level that's needed for leadership, because it's not that we are without the women who are competent enough, but I think the representation builds people's confidence in believing that it's possible, and then of course having more people in the space helps to shift the kind of culture that's in there too.
I love that. So, well, we're wrapping up, unfortunately. What advice would you give to young women who one day hope to take up such a leadership position?
I would say, make sure that you continue to pursue your dreams. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't. And it takes a level of self-confidence as well, getting to know yourself and also being true to yourself and being authentic. It's not easy being a public figure. That's one of the things that, I grapple with. And so, I think for all of us, we all always have, a sense of the things that we're insecure about, but you should always have confidence in your competence and your skills and take every opportunity to grow and get better. We're not perfect, but there's always room for us to grow.
All right, yes. So take those weaknesses and use them to push.
Yeah.
All right, then. I was about to ask, as the challenges that you would have faced, mainly internationally per se, as a woman and as a younger member in such meetings, how was that, as it pertains to you and wanting to push forward as a woman in politics?
Well, I think so. I've had experiences where I travel, and I think, people are expecting the Minister of Youth or the Minister of Social Development. They're not really expecting me.
Right.
And so, I've always had moments where it's like, it's always like a little awkward moment where people kind of see you, but they're like, oh, okay, you're the person. And I think sometimes maybe people might not, it's almost like they might underestimate you just based on, perception. And so for me, it's just a matter of, I have a confidence that I can deliver in a space, that I am here to do something. I believe in what I'm doing. And so, I just kind of show up as myself and try to be my best self. And when people see, they see. And
when people see, they see.
When people see,
I
they
love that.
see. Because, you can't be so hung up on what other people are going to think, because then, you're not focusing on the right thing. So, and of course, I think there's always an openness to, criticism that is constructive, and there's always also need to be open to that. I think sometimes.
So you have to, but with the constructive criticism, there's also always negative comments,
and you have to be able to balance
it too.
Right, and that's where knowing yourself and kind of knowing what are your strengths and acknowledging and accepting your weaknesses is also very important.
So, what are some characteristics you think one should have before taking up such a leadership role?
That's a good question. Wow, I'm pulling out punches. So leadership qualities, I think, vision is important. Relatability, I think, is important. I think, the strongest leaders are, charismatic type of leaders, leaders who can actually connect with people. I think having a genuine spirit and interest and care. I think, I believe that's important. Leaders who understand that, it's not about me, but it's also about all the people that I'm trying to help get better. So it's not just about, my own selfish interests and my own selfish deeds, but, you lead with the interest of helping other people be their best selves. And so I think those things help in terms of, having a vision and having an ability to kind of lead people, influence people, and also just the ability to do. A lot of us have great, grand ideas, but not everybody have the courage to get up and actually do the thing. And so I think you, as a leader, you need to be willing to make the hard decisions. You need to be willing to actually follow through on those decisions and take the action that's needed.
Take the risk.
Yeah, right. And not everybody is really able to do that. So I think, you definitely need that as a leader.
Okay, understood. Unfortunately, we are out of time, and so we will take a commercial break and be back with more Youth with SKNYPA.
It's time that we realize that we must work together to thrive. The world as we know it, the sky and below it. Could I never have more wonder? Yeah, with life and all you see, and the climate's changing. But hope is remaining. That we can't ignore the future. It depends on you and me. One chance, all that we got. One voice, together we start. Take care, the world where we live. Permite a todos vivir. Tomamos la oportunidad para cortar la humanidad. And I must leave no one behind because we are one climate, one Caribbean. One climate, one Caribbean.
Healthwise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Malik Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with SKNYPA, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from Kitts-Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
Youth Lounge with SKNYPA is sponsored in part by the St. Kitts Electricity Company, SKELEC, powering the community.
We know there are moments when life just doesn't go as planned, and our days pretty much takes us where it wants to. But for every missed occasion, there's a great opportunity. We are making it easier to make bill payments, report faults, and receive bill balances through our automated call-in service available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Simply call 465-2000 and say or press 2 to access our automated customer service system. Say or press 2 to make a payment via credit card. Enter your 8-digit SKELEC account number as seen on your bill. Enter the amount you wish to pay without a decimal point. For example, enter 2000 for a $20 payment. Have your credit card on hand to enter your credit card number, expiration date, and security number. One phone call gives you the power to regain control of your day. SKELEC's interactive voice response system. SKELEC, powering responses.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with SKNYPA, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from Kitts-Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV. Welcome back to Youth Lounge with SKNYPA. Special thanks to Youth Department for sponsoring this episode. Tonight we are here with
Natasha Gray Brooks, the candidate for East Bastia PAM and the deputy political leader of the People's Action Movement, mother of two, attorney at law.
Mother of two. Okay, Natasha, our first question this evening would be, what got you into politics? What was that thrust?
I always give credit to my grandmother, God bless her soul. She was a political activist and she dragged me along everywhere, to political meetings, to party events, and sometimes when I saw the work that she did in helping the candidate at the time and the smiles that it brought to people's face, that resonated with me, and I just felt like I could do that one day.
Yeah, you could put the smile on people's face.
Yes.
I get that. And what role do you think women play as it pertains to politics? We know it's a male-dominated field.
Yes, it is.
But what role, like what's that like?
I think women are the strength of most political parties. Some of them want to stay in the background. Fortunately for me, I am one who like to be bold, take risks, and so I'm not staying in the background. Whatever opportunity I get, I'll be right there in the front.
Yes. As we should.
And so I think oftentimes we do the hard work, and we don't get the credit. Somebody else stands up and get all the praise. And really and truly, for me, it's not about praise. But I think we just ought to just break the glass ceiling and do what's necessary. Step out, be bold, and take hold of things.
Break the glass ceiling, indeed.
So how do you handle the criticism and negativity that you receive in the political landscape?
Well, for me, I've always had self-confidence, and so some things, although they stand out for me, I don't let them bother me much. I learn, I take the criticism once it's constructive, and learn from the mistakes that I have made and try to just develop myself and build myself. There's always going to be negativity. I think sometimes we pay too much attention to the negativity because there are so many positive things that women can do, not just in the political sphere, but in their personal life, in community, and we don't hear people championing them as they ought to. So I try to stay positive, and every negative I try to build something that can always just wipe it away.
Right, so you find the positive in every negative, yes, and flourish on that.
Yes.
And like that. So what was it like in the last election specifically? You ran in a seat where you had 2 females. So what was that like?
Yes, myself and Jacqueline Bryan, we were the 2 females in constituency number 1, along with Dr. Jeffrey Hanley. For me, I think I was a female in every sense of the word. And it was coming out of a year that started on a high note. I had gotten married on the 2nd of January.
A very high note.
Then, within a matter of days, I was in the hospital on oxygen, sick with COVID, wow, and 7 months pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Then after that, I think on maybe like on the 5th or so day when I was in the hospital, I recognized an election was near. And I said to myself, well, how am I going to do this? I am here struggling with COVID, have not gotten the baby, and should I pull out? But I did this for the people.
Right.
I was not successful, but for me it was more about making sure that I can help person's life become better. So I decided God is going to help me through this COVID phase, because it was the strongest, weakest moment of my life.
Wow.
And at times when the doctor came, or the nurses, sorry, when they came, I didn't hear the baby's heartbeat. But thank God, 2 weeks from now, she'll be 2 years old. And I came out of that, and I was thrust into an election.
Oh, wow.
I can remember on March 13th, 2022, we were having our parties convention, and I had to give someone the name of midwife, because I walked from my vehicle up to a stage in, I guess, all my glory. And I just felt the love from the people, but I knew that this baby was going to wait until after convention, and she was born on the 22nd of March. Within a month and a half, I was on the road campaigning after having a C-section. And I mean, it was tiring. I didn't really get my maternity leave. I think I'm going to take it one of these days without a baby and just push forward. But I mean, it was I rushed to the finish line. I didn't cross the way I wanted to, but I think that election was an election that nobody expected. It was an election like no other. I had instances where my property was vandalized. I had instances where people say things on social media during political meetings and so forth. But I think my message was sound. I think it was people-centered.
Yes.
And once you keep the people at the forefront, even though you don't succeed, it just gives you the energy to want to do more. And trust me, I'm waiting for the next election.
Wow, wow. That's dedication, resilience, all in one. And how do you, I don't understand, how do you do all of that? Because me, I think I would have given up.
For sure.
I mean,
sure.
sometimes I pray and hope that a day has even more than 24 hours. As I said, my daughter is gonna make 2, but she's still breastfeeding. She thinks that I am all hers.
She should.
And so my clients, I'm an attorney at law, they think I'm all theirs as well.
So
I still have to make sure that I'm also my husband's. And so I just want more time. I just want more time in the day.
You need like 48 hours in one day.
Yes. And then 24 hours to myself.
Yes.
But I'll take the 24 hours that I have and I'll make the best use of it. One of these days I'm going to get a personal assistant who can help me just make sure that I map out my day, but I just take it as it comes.
I tip my hat to you because you would have missed me a long time.
How would you say you balance your personal life with your work life and still your political life?
But one of the things I've stopped doing is working on Sundays. Before I became actively involved in politics, I used to go to my office on Sundays, catch up on the week, work, try to organize for the week ahead, put certain things in place so that the week doesn't start as hectic as it does. So I've stopped doing that. After I got COVID, that was it. I stopped going to the office on Sundays. I used to go on Saturdays. I would go now and again.
You really
Not
need more than those 24 hours. Sorry.
But my Saturdays right now, I enjoy just going to the supermarket with my daughter. If I have anything else to do that fits in, work life, just before I came on set, I was just messaging a client who wants to speak to me. I told them call me in an hour.
Yeah, you really need it. You need the 48 hours for real.
I know because of COVID, we start doing appointments at the office, so I don't have many walk-ins like it used to be. So that kind of helped me to balance things. I'm also in the process of opening back my constituency office, so I will see which day or days I can be there, but I'm balancing. I'm thinking that after Lent I will be better because one of the things I've given up procrastination in Lent. So hopefully that will help me balance better.
How's that going?
Yes, how is that
Not
going?
too bad, you know. I mean, I cheat now and again, but not too bad.
As you have to do something, you just get up and do it?
I try, and then
It's not like you're cheating more than
no. I try, and then I say, you know what? Remember Lent, and push again.
That's
See,
great.
I need that kind of resilience.
Comes.
Okay, well, we're wrapping up now. So what advice would you give to a young person hoping to one day hold a political position?
I would say reach for the stars. If it is you feel that your moment to shine will help to better lives of people in your community, just do that. I know it's going to be difficult, it comes with criticism, but use wisdom in everything that you do. And once you have passion, everything will fall into place. So don't step back or step behind someone, because the position that you may be fighting for someone to have might be yours, but you're too shy. Don't be shy. I think women ought to just take over the world, but we're going to take it one day at a time. One day at a time. So I know one day we will have a female prime minister in St. Kitts-Nevis, and who knows? I don't know. Might be me.
It's who knows for me. So you heard it. You have to take up what is yours. We will take a quick commercial break and be back with more Youth Lounge with SKNYPA.
It's time that we realize that we must work together to thrive. The world as we know it, the sky and below it. Could I never have more wonder? Yeah, with life and all you see and the climate's changing. But hope is remaining. And we can't ignore the future. It depends on you and me. One chance, all that we got. One voice, together we start. Take care, the world where we live. Permite a todos vivir. Tomamos la oportunidad para guardar la humanidad. And I must leave no one behind because we are one climate, one Caribbean. One climate, one Caribbean.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with SKNYPA, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from Kitts-Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
Youth Lounge with SKNYPA is sponsored in part by the St. Kitts Electricity Company, SKELEC, powering the community.
Skillex Interactive Voice Response System, a new 24-hour automated call-in service. Access it now at 465-2000 to report faults, receive bill balances, and for the first time ever, you can now make bill payments over the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Access it now by calling 465-2000.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with SKNYPA, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from Kitts-Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV. Welcome back to Youth Lounge with SKNYPA. Another special thank you to Youth Department who sponsored this episode. Tonight we are here with Honorable Marsha Henderson and Miss Natasha Gray, two strong women in politics and law.
And family life.
And family life.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna ask, what was that like, from turning at law into politics? What was that swap over like?
It wasn't, well, it's only when you get in, you realize the difference, but essentially it is the same public service. For me, I was I was an advocate, so I did a lot of litigation where I represented and advocated for the rights of people. So similarly as a parliamentarian and even in my capacity as a minister, I advocate and represent for the people I represent in Central Bastia, as well as for the ministries that I happen to lead. So it is a lot more intensified, mind you. I'm not even trying to suggest that it is easy at all. It is a lot of work, but it is in the same vein of public service.
So the swap wasn't as drastic?
Not really. I think the biggest part is managing expectations of your constituents. Similarly, your clients, Natasha would tell you, they expect, they have their own expectations of you, similar to your constituents as well. So it's just managing your expectations, whether it's clients or constituents.
And Natasha, what was it like for you?
Well, I'm not in parliament yet, but as Marsha said, and I could call her Marsha because
absolutely,
she's my learned friend.
And I could call you Tasha.
The thing is, it's managing their expectations and their demands.
Yes,
the demands.
And on time, every time.
Right.
It's not that, okay, I call you at 6 o'clock and you could get me 2 hours or 24 hours. They want the answers now. Likewise, constituents they have an issue, whether it is housing, whether it is roads, whether it is unemployment, they want that resolved in now time. And so sometimes you have to just explain to them that it's a process, things take time, we're going to work on it. And whether it's a client or constituents, and you try to show them the different avenues for which they can overcome their hurdles. But it's something that once you love to serve the public, once you like to help people resolve their problems, it becomes an ease.
And what helps is creating structures. So you put things in place and you sensitize people, so hey, this is the process, and you can do this, and this might be able to help. It's not everything, you know. With law, you have your practice, you might have a paralegal or a junior attorney, and then they deal with certain parts. Then you in politics, it's more, you know, there's a form, there's someone who can help you, there is another technocrat who might be able to deal with it. So if people are aware of structures, then you know, it's easy to just guide the process instead of you having to deal with it. Right.
Understood. Well, you both were the lone females on the political trail. So what was that like, you know, having to stand with
all the males?
All the males.
For me, it wasn't a bad experience because they were supportive. I think what some women face in other political parties in other countries is that people don't expect women to be on the political platform. They don't expect them to be doing what people in pants do.
Right.
And so once you show persons that you have the competence, you can do it, you have a passion for people, and you can be efficient and make things happen, I think that makes it a little easier for you. I'm so happy that we live in a part of the world that we are not thrown in prison just for being a woman trying to do what a man can do. So for me, it wasn't bad. I hope Marsha had a good experience. But my colleagues, no, I'm speaking about the colleagues. The colleagues were not bad for me, but as I said, that there were instances where I had vandalism to my vehicle, my posters, my tire was punctured, my poster was taken down, and it really didn't faze me much because I think it just gave me the energy to
keep going. Yes.
I need some of that resilience.
For me, what came out is that there is a implicit bias. So they expect us as women to behave how some men behave, particularly on the platform. And I can get my points across without being boisterous, extravagant. I am a gentle giant. And so there is a bias that you must come and be brawly. And to get your point across. And I was the soft-spoken, timid, of course, because even though I'm accustomed to the courtroom, the platform is a different ball game, trust me. Right? So, I mean, I had the most supportive team, all the men and women. We had a campaign. I had a campaign manager who was female, and I had a party organizer who was female as well. And the whole team was supportive. But there's an expectation that you must behave like a man, right? And you must behave, and I'm a woman, and I'm supposed to be able to get my point across to you, you know,
as having to shout in your face,
right? And be like a man, like, yeah, man, you understand? You gotta do this. We bad, you know. Then the attacks from persons, nothing, and I mean, it comes with the territory, but let it be substantive. Don't let it be something substantial, not cursing because I'm a woman.
Right.
And I don't even want to bring it back up. I've left that in the past, but I don't think it fazed me. I was just was really disappointed that men still think and behave that way.
It's unfortunate that
indeed
at this day and age we're still struggling with something like this. Well, you're both mothers.
Yes.
So Tell me, what was that? I can't speak to that. What was the balance like having to deal with constituents calling, hey, I need this now?
And I'm sure Liam, I think you're watching, my son. He might be watching me. I said, Mommy is going, you know, to do something.
Your child, they're saying, I want this too. So
your phone ringing in here like
you know, he was my biggest supporter. He's only 11, and he was in his colors, rooting for Mommy, you know, on the canvas trail with me. And one thing I said when I was approached by our comrade leader to consider even applying after we went through the candidate selection process and everything, I had to say one thing I'm not prepared to compromise in politics is my child at all. And I've seen too often politicians who lose their children in the process. And mothers have, I'm a single mother, like, I don't even want to say single, forgive me, but I'm co-parenting, let me put it that way, let me be politically correct, where we share custody, but I have the day-to-day care and responsibility. I think Natasha understands exactly what I mean. But to say I'm single is a little...
I understand what you're saying. You're not fighting
no, it's outdated. I don't think we really have single parents anymore. But the arrangement is that I'm responsible for him on a day-to-day basis, of course, with help from his father. But that means, ask Natasha, I used to reach court late, all when 9 o'clock.
Now I'm taking your place.
Natasha, the other day I spoke to Natasha and she was like, I understand exactly what you used to be going through. But I'm there and they expect you to be there for 9. Get your child ready. Be mentally prepared. You know, because some men don't have those responsibilities.
Yeah, and even if they do, it's not on that scale.
No, and so I had to say I'm not prepared to compromise my child at all. And there've been a lot of accommodations made. Even when we go have cabinet until 10 o'clock. Even to get somebody to help me with my child. And there was a lot of rhetoric, nonsense being said, oh, politicians have drivers. How do I show up? How does my child show up on time? How do I then prepare? You know, I just don't put on a jacket and brush my hair. I have to put on a little makeup, fix up my weave. You know, I can't just put on a jacket and a pants and show up.
Right, it's not the same.
Right, women take some time.
Right,
mentally,
so you have to be given degrees.
Yes.
Right, and so I think there's been a lot of accommodations. More women are taking up space, and I think people understand that. So
take up space, yes. Yes, last year we spoke about the same thing, taking up space.
Yes. Right.
So Natasha, what is it like for you?
I mean, I share the same sentiments as Marsha. Even coming here, I was like, oh God, I can't fix me here. I can't just, you know, pull out of clothes and go, because there are going to be the critics. And even though
to somebody bite you, if your interest is good, you're going you're like a world of problems. I mean, we live in a high society, so
even though we think that we try to make ourselves presentable here, I'm quite certain there are going to be some critics out there saying, well, she couldn't have come, she
could be something different.
And the thing is, it's some of our women.
Yes,
mostly. It's some of our women,
that's
unfortunately. Correct. So we only have the fight down from men. We have the fight down from
our very own.
Yes, and so we just have to be there. And as Marsha said, take up space, because sometimes, unless we do it, things will not get done.
Right.
And if we stay in the background and allow men to just shove us down, and our own women as well,
right?
Things will not be moving. The world moves when women are there in power.
Right.
And so I think it's the onus is on us to make sure that we put footprints in the sand. We must stand up and show out.
Right,
all the time.
You see, the issue that a lot of us as women face is that we have women trying to get where you are, but they wouldn't say, let me stand beside her and we go up together. It's more, but I want it and I want it now, so
they
push you
whatever
down.
I have to do to get them out of the way, I'm going to have to do that.
And you don't see that with the males.
Unfortunately, because
you hardly ever see it.
And this is why they say females are too emotional, and we take everything to heart, and the whole lot of, but unfortunately, we are out of time. So I would like to say,
we're just about to take over the world.
As soon as you snap, we're about to take over. But I would like to give special thanks to the Youth Department for sponsoring this episode, and we'll be right back with more Youth Lounge with SKNYPA.
Healthwise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Malik Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
Yeah, man. Another day in the books. Well, hello there. She pretty from head to toe, and are you ready to go? Wait there. Whew. Can't afford to slip up. Not even in my dreams.
Youth Lounge with SKNYPA is sponsored in part by the St. Kitts Electricity Company, SKELEC, powering the community.
We know what it feels like to have your head in the game, to be in charge, and reign supreme. And we also know what it feels like to have that taken away from you. But for every missed occasion, there's a great opportunity. Simply call 465-2000. Say or press 1 to report an outage. Enter your account number or telephone number to report the outage. Clearly explain the cause of your power outage. We can even call you back to let you know when the power is restored. One phone call gives you the power to regain control of your day. SKELEC's interactive voice response system. SKELEC, powering responses.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with SKNYPA, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from St. Kitts-Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV. Welcome back to Youth Lounge with SKNYPA. Tonight we are here with Honorable Marsha Henderson, as you saw in the previous clips.
Yes, and I'm here with these dynamic females. Tristania happens to be my mentee.
Yes.
Yes.
For women empowering girls.
Yes.
Look at that. And we're here for women in power.
Absolutely.
So, what would you say inspired you or encouraged you to pursue a career in politics?
Honestly, I had no real political ambitions. There wasn't anything that made politics look attractive for women, so I had no political ambitions whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I hardly showed interest in politics. What motivated me though was there was a call from my party. I actually worked with the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party in the background and in the branch for a short time, and there was a call to serve. And of course I had to consider, it was a very hard decision, I had to consider a number of things, and one of the things that led to me offering myself for public service was the fact that I was the beneficiary of policies that empowered me. I could not have been a lawyer today. I have a sister who's a medical doctor, and all of these things we accomplished because of progressive policies. So I support the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party because of the policies that are made, and this is not a campaign, but the policies that empower the masses, whether it's through education, where I was the beneficiary, or home ownership, business empowerment, and I felt obligated to give back to the people in Central Bastille, and of course to the people of St. Kitts-Nevis and to my party.
So what was it like taking up a seat that was once held by another female? What was that like? You felt like you had big shoes to fill?
Right, but I felt I wanted to make my own mark. Yes. And so I always feel compelled to set my own trail, you know, and instead of, yes, I look up to Her Excellency Marcella. She's one of my mentors as well. But as females, we must also look to see how we and what we bring to the table and what contribution, right, make your own mark. And so yes, I said, wow, Marcella did well, and this is a Herculean task, but I'm up for it.
You were successful, so it's good to see.
You are up for
You stepped up and you left your mark, because
Right.
you'll always be etched in history.
Yes, hopefully for the best.
Do you feel that, you know, being a woman, that more is expected of you than your male counterparts?
Not really. I don't get that feeling, but what I find is that a lot of times I have to assert myself. So I walk in the room, and as a female leader, you're supposed to look a certain way. You're supposed to look man-head, forgive me, or look strong and masculine.
Right.
Then I come in, I have a nose ring, I have tattoos. I come in and I look like a hot girl.
A Barbie.
But and I find that's, people underestimate me because I don't look like the typical politician,
Yes.
female politician. And then when I have to assert myself and get aggressive or assertive, and one time I was in a room and a man said, lady, lady, lady. And I ain't saying Mr., Mr., Mr. I have to say, you don't refer to me as that. And sometimes you have to command the respect in the room.
Agreed.
Whether it's sometimes it's here, it's internationally when you travel as well. But I don't have an issue with putting people in their places at all.
As you should.
Right. And so a lot of times they're shocked.
When you do. Yes, I understand the limitations.
Right.
I understand,
Right.
because if you bring a chainsaw in front of me, I might one.
Yeah. And to kill a worm.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Kill a worm.
Me ain't doing that.
I'll put a man in his place, but to kill a worm?
Yes.
No.
That's my limit.
Yeah. I'm not doing it. Or centipede.
That's even
Yes.
worse.
So in cabinet, we know you have Iceline, who is another female
Right.
parliamentarian. What is that
And
like?
Dr. Clark as well.
Oh,
Dr.
yes.
Clark as well, my
Yes.
apologies.
Yes.
What is that like, being able to bounce?
So refreshing. So refreshing.
You're not the only one in there fighting.
No, and we don't actually fight, but we bring perspective to things and color. So sometimes you have the black and white, and women bring the color
We
to
speak with
it.
the rainbow.
Right. And they're like,
We never would have thought if it wasn't for you.
they probably say, Masha, stop lying. But we bring the color. We bring the color, the perspective. Men tend to see things a certain way,
Yes.
So I think we bring perspective.
See? It's because of the women in parliament.
And it changes policy. You understand, policy that resonate with women and make real change. For example, like I said, do I have to show up every day like a man? Is there some accommodation that could be made for women who breastfeed? Can we breastfeed our children in the lunchroom? Different things, policies that and when you bring perspective, it brings policies that benefit women.
So, as you have mentioned, you are happy to bring the policies that benefit women. What are some policies up to today that you're grateful to have that actually benefit not just you, but women of the Federation?
Right. So I know Minister Iceland is championing a number of policies. I know there is the policies for women, as I said, for those who breastfeed. We're trying to create more mechanisms and structure that allow women to take a break and feed right there. You pull out your breasts, everybody watch you like you're crazy. But there must be like a time, a schedule, those things that benefit women. Equal pay. You would find a female CEO might make less than a male CEO. And a lot of times it's negotiations. So you negotiate for a position, and if you don't insist, sometimes, a man would come and they're like, okay, yeah, we could do that for him.
Yeah, so
But they will think twice about doing it for her, for a woman. And so I think we try to bring some balance. I think the fact that you're seeing more women now in parliament, in cabinet, and even in leadership positions, and I think we're benefiting from that, and it's trickling down in, like I said, in the form of policies, mentoring of girls, and creating more women in leadership. Girls now have things to look up to. I mean, sometimes I walk and I see children like 5 years old and they're like, Masha, Masha,
I want to be like you.
Masha.
Yeah.
One of them said, I want to be the Prime Minister like you. I had to say, darling, I'm not the Prime Minister. I can take you
manifesting.
She is.
She's
right.
telling
You know. Oh Lord, I don't know if I have those ambitions, but girls actually, little girls aspire to be a woman, a female leader.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're out of time.
Yes, it was.
Thank you for being here.
It was an absolute pleasure, and I want to commend the youth parliamentarians for the excellent job you all are doing, bringing light on a number of issues, particularly this month when we celebrate women.
Yes.
So, congratulations. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.
Special thanks to the Department of Youth for sponsoring this show, and we'll be right back with more Youth Lounge with SKNYPA.
Whether you're a local gem or a national brand, ZIZ TV is the platform to elevate your presence, capture attention, drive sales, and make a lasting impression on thousands of potential customers. Don't miss out on this prime advertising space. Contact us now at 465-2621. That's 465-2621 and speak to our marketing experts. Catch the eyes, make the sales, advertise here on ZIZ TV.
Healthwise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Malik Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
Yeah, man. Another day in the books. Well, hello there. She pretty from head to toe, and are you ready to go? Wait there. Whew. Can't afford to slip up, not even in my dreams.
Youth Lounge with SKNYPA is sponsored in part by the St. Kitts Electricity Company, SKELEC, powering the community.
We know there are moments when life just doesn't go as planned, and our days pretty much takes us where it wants to. But for every missed occasion, there's a great opportunity. We are making it easier to make bill payments, report faults, and receive bill balances through our automated call-in service available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Simply call 465-2000 and say or press 2 to access our automated customer service system. Say or press 2 to make a payment via credit card. Enter your 8-digit SKELEC account number as seen on your bill. Enter the amount you wish to pay without a decimal point. For example, enter 2000 for a $20 payment. Have your credit card on hand to enter your credit card number, expiration date, and security number. One phone call gives you the power to regain control of your day. SKELEC's interactive voice response system. SKELEC, powering responses.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with SKNYPA, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from St. Kitts-Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV. Thank you for watching this episode of Youth Lounge with SKNYPA. We'd like to say thank you again to the Youth Department for sponsoring this episode entitled Women Empower featuring women in power.
See you not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday right after.